Welcome to Our Communiversity today, sponsored by Princeton Community Bank and Cucumber and Company, a community affairs program from West Virginia University Institute of Technology in Beckley, hosted by Dr. T. Ramon Stuart, president of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, working to make a difference in Southern West Virginia. Guest opinions expressed on this program may not represent the opinions of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, Southern Communications, or its sponsors. And now, with today's program, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome to Our Communiversity today. I'm Dr. Ramon Stuart, president of WVU Tech here in Beckley, and I'm thankful that you chose to be with us today as we explore Our Communiversity. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the community is the university and the university is the community. And I think that combination is so powerful because when you couple together the power of education and the community, you have the opportunity to not only survive, but more importantly, thrive. And part of being able to thrive, whether you're in Southern West Virginia or anywhere throughout the world, is to be able to have access to not only high quality, but also affordable health care. And today I'm so happy to have in studio with me Karen Bowling, who is the president and CEO of WVU Medicine down at Princeton Community Hospital, to share with us her belief in how Princeton Community Hospital and WVU Medicine can help people in Southern West Virginia live healthy lives. And so as we explore this topic, as always, our goal on Our Communiversity today is to simply ask and answer two questions. That's why not us and why not now? So ladies and gentlemen, right after this break, we'll be back with more Our Communiversity today on News Talk WWNR.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Princeton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Princeton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
If you want a real cool website, I'll tell you what to do. Call them cats at Cucumber and they'll build a site for you. Our people are so friendly and our updates are the fastest. All it's gonna cost $100 plus taxes.
These cats build, host, and update for just $100 a month.
Oh yeah!
Find out how at 304-250-0123 or at cucumberandcompany.com.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity today. Again, in studio, we are visiting with Karen Bowling, who is the president and CEO of WVU Medicine's Princeton Community Hospital. Karen, how are you today?
I'm great, and I'm very happy to be on the show today.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest. I know you have a busy schedule, and when I knew I had the opportunity to sit down and break bread with you, I said, hey, this community, she is part of this communiversity piece, need to have her here. But speaking of this community, you are no stranger to Southern West Virginia. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am definitely no stranger to Southern West Virginia. I was born and raised in Wyoming County. I talk about that a lot because I believe those roots really were essential for me in my growth and development in my entire career. When you start somewhere that's your home, you want to give back. And that's really what I've tried to do my entire career is give back to my community. And I consider the entire Southern West Virginia area my community now, especially as the president and CEO of Princeton Community Hospital. I started as a nurse. I always like to emphasize that because I'm a caregiver and I wanted to help people. That was my goal. It's really sort of funny because when I was in high school, people used to talk about me and say, oh, if Karen's here, don't worry about anything because she's going to try to fix it or take care of it. And so when I decided on a career choice, I ended up in nursing for that very reason. And I loved it, and I love caring for people. And my entire career has really been about that and serving my community in a lot of different capacities over the years.
You know, I always think it's so powerful. You know, listeners know I'm from my beloved free state of McDowell County. And, you know, in order to get from Raleigh County to McDowell County, one of the routes I always traveled were those country roads through Wyoming County. And I sit and pause. And, you know, many people don't realize where people like Chris Klein or Donnie Holcomb or Rob Hogan was born. They were actually McDowell County boys that were raised and educated in Wyoming County, the D'Antonis, and the work they did. That foundation that was laid for you, laid for these stalwart individuals in Wyoming County through your education, how was it? Because we're always told about what West Virginia does not have or whatever, but it seems like somebody or something instilled some values in you. So tell me about that growing up in Wyoming County.
Well, first, I'm from Mullens, and so, you know, that community is a very close-knit community, and I think it still is today. I still know many people who live in Mullens, and I think that growing up, what I learned was it was really about your neighborhood, your family, your friends. You know, it was not, unreasonable for you to go out, ride your bike, and stop at a neighbor's house to get a drink of water or Kool-Aid, because we looked out for each other. And I think, you know, my family in particular, I've talked a lot about my dad. He was a coal miner. You know, he instilled that work ethic in me. It was important that you do everything that you can in your job, but also it was important that you helped your neighbors, your family, and your friends. And so I think that was instilled in me as I grew up from my family, from my father, from my neighbors, from my friends. And so that really helped to build a foundation in me that led me to a career in healthcare.
Mm-hmm. And that foundation, I think, is so important, and owed to your father, coal miner, deep down inside the earth, digging, and, you know, but providing opportunity for you and your loved ones to not only eat, but have a roof over their head and that kind of stuff. And so those kinds of contributions gave you the opportunity to go and be a nurse. But being a nurse and caring for people, but you don't work as a nurse now. Tell me how you got from caring for people as a nurse into hospital administration.
Well, it's a little bit of an interesting story because I never really intended to be an administrator.
Those are some of the best administrators that I've ever experienced, the ones that did not want a title.
I did not want the title. I love taking care of people. I love being a nurse. But I also realized that with a little bit of clinical knowledge, you could really help shape policy. Mm-hmm. And that was what drove me really to get into administration. You know, I love the direct caregiving, but, you know, when I saw decisions that were made sometimes in healthcare by higher-ups that really didn't know about the clinical aspect of care, I said to myself, ooh, you know, if I was that person, maybe I could change the policy so that it was more focused on patients and patient care and really also supporting employees in your hospital. And so at that point in time, I said, well, I guess, you know, my only choice, if I want to change things from a bigger picture perspective, from a policy perspective, for looking at healthcare more globally, I was going to have to move into that camp and become an administrator. And then I set my sights on it and decided I would move in that direction. And it was a little bit reluctantly because I still miss taking care of people. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes I look at the nurses and the people that are working in my hospital and I say, oh, I'd like to be you because I like that one-on-one connection. But I also realize that my job now is to have a bigger picture perspective to help those people who are caring for patients and for our patients to make sure good policy decisions help us really move healthcare forward, and that, you know, we focus more on the health and well-being of people overall, not just in the hospital, but in our community.
Yeah. And when you look at that and you think about that trajectory, and I say this about administration, I too am a hands-on person. I can remember where students sat in the classrooms that I taught over the years. But I think as an administrator, I have the ability to empower so many other people to do what I love to do. And that then magnifies my contributions of service to other people. And it sounds like you have had that type of journey yourself. And speaking of that particular journey, you say, I want to be the change that I want to see. You go from being by the bedside, caring for people, into administration. What is that bridge over? Because, I always say it's hard for you to be what you cannot see. I doubt a young lady growing up in Mullens, you saw many hospital administrators. So now you getting in, you seeing there's opportunities to do better, be better, but it's easier said than done. So what path did you take from the bed to the boardroom?
Well, I think a really good point to make is that, in my family, no one was college educated, but it was very important to my dad that myself and my two brothers did become college educated. So I do think you have to take an educational path. I think education is extremely important. I focused on that. I started as a nurse, but I also realized I can't just walk in and be an administrator. Mm-hmm. I need to learn what it's going to take to be an administrator. And so continuing my education to focus on more of the policy and, how do you go about leadership, being a good leader, understanding the ins and outs of leadership. And so I basically educated myself. I took that pathway. I set a goal so that if I became an administrator, I would have the knowledge and the basis that I needed to be an excellent one, not just a good one. And that was really important to me, that I was well prepared for my role. And I think that's important for people out there in our community to realize you can be anything you want to be, but you have to educate yourself to get there. And that's why it's good to have, great partners, WVU Tech, the university, others out there that are educating people and getting them prepared for their role so that young people or people who are getting back into the workforce are well prepared to do different careers.
Yeah, and when you look at that journey, the practical experience, the theoretical education, and you look at what it's done to prepare you, it was written, to whom much is given, much is expected. How do you feel about what has been given to you?
Oh, I'm truly blessed. There is no question in my mind. I think you take a pathway. I think, you're guided in that pathway. I think God's given me the ability to move in different roles throughout my entire career. All of those roles have been important roles for me because I've done what I believe that I'm supposed to do in terms of, giving back to my community and helping people. And I think I've been very well prepared because of that. And it gives me, a warm and fuzzy feeling inside to know that, I'm following the path that I was led and I'm getting where I need to be because of that. And hopefully I'm influencing and helping people in the long run.
Yeah, and to embrace that notion that you've been given a lot, but then also to strive to not only meet, but not just meet those expectations, but to exceed those expectations. That's the definition to me of walking in purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, again in studio, Karen Boland, President and CEO of Princeton Community Hospital. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned to News Talk WWNR for more Our Communiversity Today.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
If you want a real cool website, I'll tell you what to do. Call them cats at Cucumber and they'll build a site for you. Our people are so friendly and our updates are the fastest. All it's gonna cost $100 plus taxes.
These cats build, host, and update for just $100 a month.
Oh yeah!
Find out how at 304-250-0123 or at cucumberandcompany.com.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Pendleton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity today. Again in studio is Karen Boland, who's the president and CEO of Princeton Community Hospital, which is part of WVU Medicine. Now, Karen, right before the break, we talked about the notion of to whom much is given, much is expected. And I'm so appreciative that you've embraced the blessings that you've been given and those expectations, looking to exceed them. So as you think about being the president and CEO of Princeton Community Hospital, what are some things that you're doing to exceed those expectations?
Well, I think one thing we focus on is the patient experience. I think it's really important for patients to feel like they can come into your hospital, your clinic, and know that we care about them, that we have compassion, we're competent to do our job, that, we're doing everything possible to make sure they do have an excellent experience in our facility. And so that's really a primary focus. I tell people I make decisions. I think of three things when I make decisions. The first one is, what impact does it have on the patient? First and foremost, I don't make a decision without thinking about that. Two, my second thought is, what impact does it have on our employees, this decision? What impact will it have on our employees when I make it? And the third is, what impact does it have on our community? And so everything that we do is about our patients, our employees, and our community. And we really try very hard not only to take care of patients within our building, but to do things in our community that supports communities' health and well-being. Because as we know, Southern West Virginia is somewhat plagued with, some very negative statistics in terms of heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, etc. So we have to figure out how to do more, not just in our hospital, but out there in our community. And I think that is really our focus and our vision. Our vision is to bring all the services close to home. I say that all the time. I'll repeat it, close to home. We have to take care of people close to home. Transport is not easy in the state of West Virginia. And we have to make sure the services that we do bring are quality.
That's very significant. You talk about bringing all the services home. Tell me how that can work. What are some services that you typically would not get at a Princeton Community Hospital that now, because of the relationship with WVU Medicine and stuff, you can bring services to Southern West Virginia? What are some of those services?
Well, I'll tell you, 5 years ago when I first became the president and CEO at WVU Medicine Princeton Community Hospital, I was really surprised by the lack of services, specialties in particular, and even really primary care physicians. And we've done a lot of recruitment, but a lot of that's been done with telemedicine in conjunction with the university. So I can give you a couple of examples of really good examples. One is our pediatric telemedicine clinic. So basically the pediatric specialist in Morgantown at WVU Medicine reached out and said, hey, we're having trouble getting kids that we see one time back in for follow-ups, getting their lab work, getting an x-ray, things done for these children. And so that was one of our top priorities, is how do we set up a telemedicine clinic with the UHA, the university physicians, so that subspecialists can see their children through telemedicine, pediatric population. And so we did that. We have 16 specialists, subspecialists at WVU that see children at Princeton at our telemedicine clinic. It's absolutely amazing. there are children that really were born with, for example, heart disease that, never got follow-up that are now getting follow-up. There are children that have significant neurological problems that are getting follow-up close to home. And so it is a phenomenal way in which we can take care of children using the university and ensure that these subspecialists have an opportunity to follow up and the parents can get their children seen. And many times it's not the fault of the parent. They can't get to Morgantown. They either don't have the transport or the financial ability to do that. And we do that with several other specialties. Neurology is another example. Endocrinology. There are a lot of people with diabetes, and we just recently set up an endocrinology clinic with the university physicians, and we have a nurse practitioner that sees patients, and we also have our endocrinologists that see the endocrinology patients through telemedicine. It is so busy and got so backed up that we've now added a second advanced professional nurse practitioner or PA to our clinic to help serve Southern West Virginia.
Yeah, just those things, and you use them big words that I can't pronounce and everything. I tell people that's why I went to engineering school. I'd rather calculate something than be able to pronounce it. But all the services that you're talking about that's bringing people or being brought to people, how does that make them feel? What response do you get from, just like me? I'm just a poor little country boy from Southern West by God, Virginia. I travel up Route 52 and go to Princeton Community Hospital. Remember, I had eye surgery there when I was a real little boy. But, that was the closest hospital I had. But I don't know what services they had then or what, and looking at what they have now. But how do families react that they can stay close but get that quality of care?
I would say the word I would use is grateful. People are absolutely grateful. I get letters, I get emails, I get people that stop by my office to tell me how grateful they are. There are people that used to have to miss a day of work to take their child in, for example, to the pediatric telemedicine clinic. They can go on their lunch break. This is significant. It is important that we take care of our population of people with all the services that they need, quality services, not just services. Mm-hmm. And I think we're able to do that either in partnership with WVU Medicine and the university or others to make sure that we're bringing those services close to home. We even have the open heart surgeons, cardiovascular surgeons who come down once a month. And if you have surgery at Thomas, as an example, in Charleston, then you can get your follow-up appointment at Princeton. I mean, we think about that every day. How can we minimize travel? How can we make sure that patients are going to have the ability to be cared for in their environment, in their community?
And so your footprint, the footprint that you reach out from Princeton Community Hospital, what does that footprint look like?
We really consider our entire footprint Southern West Virginia. We have about 10 counties that we serve in one capacity or another, whether that's through obstetrical services or general surgery or, again, some of our telemedicine clinics. We see people from those 10 counties on a regular basis. And I think that is important to note because if you're looking at travel time, the 10 counties I'm talking about are all within about a 45-minute or maximum hour drive for people rather than driving all the way up to Morgantown's example, which could be 3, 4, or even 5 hours from some parts of the state.
Yeah, and being able to stay close, that level of comfort is very powerful. I've told the story before to our listeners, stage 2 nuclear grade 3 kidney cancer, 8.5 centimeter mass. Emory Hospital took my right kidney out, but I came back to West Virginia, and one of the things I was reminded of is my ability to plug into the network. So I can leave from the Daniels area, go and get all my blood work done at Princeton Community. Before I'm back, my specialists in Morgantown, my nephrologist and my urologist have already gone. And I'm about to embark on 5 years, prayerfully, of cancer-free. That will be in April of 2027. So Princeton Community Hospital, WVU Medicine, part of that health journey. And I certainly know I'm appreciative for the things that you do. But speaking of the things that you do, as the CEO and president of Princeton Community Hospital, what future plans or goals do you have to bring even better quality care to Southern West Virginia?
Well, we're in the midst of doing two major construction projects. One is our cancer center. We are super excited about that. You know, we do collaborate with Ruby, our university physicians, the Cancer Institute. We are unbelievably excited about the possibility of more clinical trials, things that we can do so that people don't have to travel to get in trials. You know, cancer is about bringing hope. And hope is important for people. And I think if you can get services close to home, then I think people, will do so. There are many people who have cancer that have to travel too far. They just won't get the treatment. Mm-hmm. And so our cancer center, the project should be completed in really the first quarter of 2028, but that is going to be phenomenal, whether it's radiation therapy or medical oncology. We're also building over into the Bluefield area. We're expanding over in that area. And that area really is important because McDowell County is in that area. It's a little bit far to travel.
She said McDowell. Okay. Yeah. I know she know those country roads.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, that expansion project is going to offer a lot more services in that part of Mercer County, which does serve the McDowell County area. It's expanding our emergency department, ancillary services. We'll have 10 observation beds. We think that's going to be important. And that project actually will be completed in the third quarter of 2027. And then our vision is to continue to look to expand to ensure that there is really no stone unturned in terms of services that are needed in our geographic area that we can provide. We need to figure out how to do that, whether it's a telemedicine, it's a monthly clinic, or it's bringing more specialists into Southern West Virginia.
Again, thank you for lifting up those rocks and finding solutions. In studio, Karen Boland, President and CEO of Princeton Community Hospital. We're going to take a short break, so stick with News Talk WWNR as we close out this edition of Our Communiversity Today.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride at Pendleton Community Bank. Our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity Today. I want to thank our guest, Karen Boland, who's the president and CEO of Princeton Community Hospital, which is part of WVU Medicine, for sharing not only her time, her talent, but most importantly, her commitment for the health and welfare of people throughout Southern West Virginia. I always say that our health is our true wealth, and the fact that we have access to quality health care in Southern West Virginia, whether it's in the hollers of McDowell County or the booming metropolis of here in Raleigh County, we have access to cutting edge health care. And I think this is so important because through Karen, we don't have somebody that provides health care. We have an individual that cares about your health. And I think that's so important in this particular conversation. And I know of her commitment because I remember the day when we had a student at WVU Tech that had a major surgery. And I called her and I said, this student is going to have this surgery on this day and everything, and I want to be there for the student. And she made a way with the physicians, with the care team, with the family, so that when this student opened their eyes, they were able to see how much we care. And that's the type of care that she provides too. So please visit wwnrradio.com for additional information about Karen Boland and Princeton Community Hospital, and also how you can help build Our Communiversity today for a brighter Southern West Virginia tomorrow.
You've been listening to Our Communiversity Today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber and Company, a production of West Virginia University Institute of Technology and Communiversity partner, Southern Communications in Beckley. For more on this program and contact information, visit our website at wwnrradio.com.